Confronting marginalization, invoking fundamental rights. Marginalization is the tendency within the society to push those who are considered lacking the desired traits to the margin. Adivasis, Dalits, Muslims, and women come under marginal groups. These groups experience inequality and discrimination at every level in society. As this hurt them, they want to come out of this. They often challenge existing inequalities. They argue that simply by being citizens of a democratic country, they possess equal rights that must be respected. Many of them look up to the Constitution to address their concerns. The Constitution provides fundamental rights which are available to all Indians equally, including the marginalized groups. Laws for the marginalized. As the marginalized groups fail to enjoy equal rights, they insist the government to enforce laws. The government, as a result, frames new laws in keeping with the spirit of the fundamental rights. Untouchability has been abolished by law. This means that no one can henceforth prevent Dalits from educating themselves, entering temples, using public facilities. Our Constitution states that no citizen of India shall be discriminated against on the basis of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. This has been used by Dalits to seek equality where it has been denied to them. There are specific laws and policies for the marginalized groups in our country. Protecting the rights of Dalits and Adivasis. The government sets up a committee or undertakes a survey and then makes an effort to promote such policies in order to give opportunities to specific groups. The government tries to promote social justice by providing for free or subsidized hostels for students of Dalit and Adivasi communities. The government's reservation policy is a very significant effort to end inequality in the system. The laws which reserve seats in education and government employment for Dalits and Adivasis are based on an important argument that in a society like ours, where for centuries sections of the population have been denied opportunities to learn and to work in order to develop new skills or vocations, a democratic government must assist these sections. Governments across the country have their own list of SCs or Dalits, STs, and backward and most backward castes. The central government too has its own lists. Students applying to educational institutions and those applying for posts in government are expected to furnish proof of their caste or tribe status in the form of caste and tribe certificates. If a particular Dalit caste or a certain tribe is of the government list, then a candidate from that caste or tribe can avail of the benefits of reservation. Besides policies, there are also specific laws to protect the rights of marginalized communities. Adivasis Demands and 1989 Act, the Scheduled Caste and the Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocities Act came into being in 1989 to protect Dalits and Adivasis from the domination of the powerful communities. Words of importance. Dalit. The term Dalit means broken or oppressed socially and economically. Confront. To come face to face or to challenge someone or something. In the chapter, the word refers to groups that challenge their marginalization. Policy. A well planned course of action that provides direction for the future, sets goals to be achieved, or lays out guidelines to be followed and acted upon. Ostracize. To socially boycott an individual and his family. Dispasses. To give ownership to or authority. Morally reprehensible. An act that violates all norms of decency and dignity that a society believes in. Assertive. An individual or a group that expresses themselves and their views strongly. Question. State one reason why you think reservations play an important role in providing social justice to Dalits and Adivasis. Reservations create a special opportunity for Dalits and Adivasis to come up in the mainstream of the society. Question: in your opinion, does the force put on Ratnam to perform the ritual violates his fundamental rights? Answer: yes, it certainly violates his fundamental rights. Question: why do you think that Dalit families were afraid of angering the powerful castes? Answer: Dalit families were scared that they would be perished if they dared to anger the powerful castes. Question: list two different provisions in the 1989 Act. Answer: two different provisions in the 1989 Act were to occupy land of Dalits and Adivasis wrongfully and no further forced displacement. Question: what do you understand by manual scavenging? Answer: manual scavenging refers to the practice of removing human and animal waste or excreta using brooms, tin plates and baskets from dry latrines and carrying it on the head to the disposal grounds at some distance. Question: reread the list of fundamental rights provided on page 14 of the textbook and list two rights that the practice of manual scavenging violates. Answer: the two rights that the practice of manual scavenging violates are right to equality and right against exploitation. Question: why did the Safai Karmachari Andolan file a PIL in 2003? What did they complain about in their petition? Answer: the Safai Karmachari Andolan filed a PIL in 2003 in order to get the manual scavenging banned. In their petition, they complained that manual scavenging still existed and it continued in government undertakings like the railways. They sought enforcement of their fundamental rights. Question: what did the Supreme Court do on hearing their case in 2005? Answer: on hearing their case in 2005, the Supreme Court directed every department or ministry of the union government and the state governments to verify the facts within 6 months. If manual scavenging was found to exist, then the government department has to actively take up a time-bound program for their liberation and rehabilitation. Question: list two fundamental rights in the Constitution that Dalits can draw upon to insist that they be treated with dignity and as equals. Reread the fundamental rights listed on page 14 of the textbook to help you answer this question. Answer: the two fundamental rights are right to equality and right against exploitation. Question: reread the story of Ratnam as well as the provisions of the 1989 Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocities Act. Now list one reason why you think he used this law to file a complaint. Answer: this law provides protection to Dalits and Adivasis. Therefore, Ratnam sought the support of this law. Question: why do Adivasi activists, including C.K. Janu, believe that Adivasis can also use this 1989 Act to fight against dispossession? Is there anything specific in the provisions of the Act that allows her to believe this? Answer: the Act guarantees Adivasis not to dispossess from their traditional homelands. The land belonging to Adivasis cannot be sold to or brought by non-tribal people. In cases where this has happened, the Constitution guarantees the right of tribal people to repossess their land. Question: the poem and the song in this unit allow you to see the range of ways in which individuals and communities express their opinions, their anger and their sorrow. In class, do the following exercises. Identify a marginalized community in your locality. Write a poem or song or draw a poster, etc. to express your feelings as a member of this community. Students are suggested to do this talk themselves. Question: name two distinct cultural and religious groups in the country. Answer: The two distinct cultural and religious groups in the country are Muslims and Parsis. Question: how does your constitution ensure cultural justice to minority groups? Answer: our constitution ensures cultural justice to minority groups by granting them cultural and educational rights. Question: what is government's reservation policy? Answer: government's reservation policy reserves seats in education and government employment for Dalits and Adivasis. Question: for admission to colleges, especially to institutes of professional education, governments define a set of cut-off marks. What does this mean? Answer: this means that not all Dalit and tribal candidates can qualify for admission, but only those who have done well and secured marks above the cut-off point. Question: how a Dalit can file a complaint under the Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocities Act? Answer: he/she files a complaint under this act to protest against the domination and violence of the powerful caste in his village. Question: what work does a manual scavenger do? Answer: he does the work of carrying human and animal waste or excreta. Question: what is Safai Karmachari Andolan? Answer: Safai Karmachari Andolan is an organization working with manual scavengers. Question: what is the employment of manual scavengers and construction of dry latrines Prohibition Act about? Answer: this act is about the prohibition of the employment of manual scavengers as well as the construction of dry latrines. Question: when was this act passed? Answer: this act was passed in 1993. Question: how does Kabir describe the term untouchability? Answer: according to Kabir, untouchability is the highest state of knowledge. It means not to be touched by narrow limited ideas.